Good day, sir. Your name and date of birth?
My date of birth is February 24th, 1936. And my name is Walter Harvey Bryant. I go in the name of Harvey.
Were you born here in Mooresville?
No, I was born in Mecklenburg County,
Okay.
Charlotte.
Did you move to Mooresville to start your business? How did that process
No,
go?
I lived in Huntsville. Then I came to Mooresville. And how I got started was through Captions. You know about Captions being wrong? That's how I got started with them. Then, now let me tell you this.
Oh, sorry. Stop.
He cards for the black. That's when I first. Can you remember that? No, I know you can't.
I promise this usually doesn't happen.
Go ahead.
Good day, sir. Your name and your date of birth?
My name is W.H. Bryant. My date of birth is February 24th, 1936.
And how did you come to Mooresville?
Well, I came to Moore because I wanted to be back then I wanted to be an undertaker. And I came to work for Captions. And when I came to work for them, I thought, everything was going to be hokey-dory. But I found out it was different. I put up tents, washed cars, and I stayed in the basement until I got ready to go off to school. And I left them, and believe it or not, I didn't think a white man would cry to see a black man go. But I went to Cincinnati, and one of the fellas that worked with me, a white fella, he carried me to Cincinnati to embalming school. And when I went to Cincinnati, do you know there was places I couldn't even go? Couldn't go because I had a black face. Now, when I came back, I went back to work to Cabin Funeral Home. That was a white funeral home. And I washed cars, put up tents, and I went on all the black funerals. But the white funeral, I had to haul flowers, put up grave equipment, take it out, take it down, bring it back to the funeral home. And then we had these lamps. Now, I'll tell you about this. The lamps, now they had carrying cases for the white. We only had lamps. You take the globes out and put them in your hearse or whatever you were driving. That's where that was during the time we had to carry bodies home. See, I carried a lot of them home. I went with the white folks. But let me say this. Just before I got ready to go off to school, now I'd been there washing cars and putting up tents and going on funerals and all this kind of stuff. But when I got ready to get paid, Guess what the white man told me?
What's that?
He said, I can't pay you what I pay my white boys, cause you be making more money than them. But and I've been working all that whole week, helped to dig graves and all that. And I left and went home. And I talked to my mom and daddy about that. And they told me, say, this is what you wanted to do. So if you make your bed hard, you got to sleep in it. Now that's what they told me. Okay. Then when I came back from school, I had graduated, got all these certificates and all this stuff on the wall. And believe it or not, they still still treat you like dirt. But I never will forget what the head man told me. He was laying on the couch when I went to be interviewed. He says, my work is hard and less pay. That didn't bother me. I wanted to learn the business. I wanted to know how to do the embalming, what to do and how to do. And the first case that they had over there, they let me go in the embalming room. And there was an old lady, and I never seen that before. Her fingernails and toenails were turned back like this. Nobody clipped them. So I asked the man, I said, ain't you gonna cut the nail? He said, she lived like that. No, I'm not gonna cut it. Well, but the bad part that really got me, when we got paid, the man brought our checks downstairs. Me and another fellow, Mr. Vanderberg, was working there. And he told me, now listen to this, he says, I can't pay you what I pay my white boys. Says, because you be making more than they making. Now that's what he told me, but I stuck with that. And that's when I went home and I told my mama and daddy about it. And they told me, say, that's what you wanted to do. So if you make your bed hard, you got to sleep in it. And then the next thing, the man brought his checks downstairs. We were all sitting in the basement. And he told me, he says, I can't pay you what I pay my white boys, because you be making more than them. And see, when I took that, I might have took it the wrong way, but I went home, and I was telling my parents about it. And my mama told me, she said, anytime a white man tell you his work is hard, say you better believe it. And I found out it was hard, but I stuck by it because I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to get a business. Now, see, when I started off in a house over on Biltmore, Westmore, and Iredale, and you probably done seen that house there now. It's a church, and it's been painted nicely and all. That's where I started out with the Morrisons. Okay. Now you talking about, and it was rough then. But when that man told me, I can't pay you what I pay my white boys, and I went home and I told my mama and them about it. She said, anytime a man tell you his work is hard and less pay, say you better believe it's less pay. And sure enough it was. But when I got ready to go off to school, do you know, I think it was 3 of them, got ready to leave to go to Cincinnati. And one of the white fellas that worked with me, he's dead and gone now, but he carried me to Cincinnati. And they all stood down there in the parking lot and cried like babies because they know that they couldn't find nobody else to do what I did. See? And that's where I got my training. But it was tough. Tough. I mean, sure enough, tough. So, yeah.
Let's stop for a second.
So you went to Cincinnati, got your diploma in embalming,
Right.
came back here and opened up. Is that by in the junction that you opened up?
No.
Not quite.
That was where I opened up. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a church there now. But see, they painted it. It used to be white, but they painted it kind of yellow-looking color. You probably see on the corner of Westmore. And you see,
Upper Praise.
huh?
It's a church.
Yes, a church now, but it used to be a funeral home.
Okay.
Because that's where I started out at.
And you built that?
I helped build it.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I had the Marsons. They helped me also. They used to be Marson and Bryant. Then I changed it to Bryant, Lytle and Young. And now it's W.H. Bryant, A.E. Grit and Son.
Okay. How what challenges did you go through starting the business? Start as Bryant and Morrison.
Well, what they would do, they would bring their cars from Mooresville over here. Like if I had a funeral or something, I couldn't use what I had. They wanted to use their new cars. And I think there was about a 71 Hearse, because I had like about a 58. But they didn't want to use that. So it's okay. And then they would bring, like, we didn't have no limousines back then like we got now. They had the individual car, like a 5-passenger car. And sometimes it would be black, sometimes it'd be burgundy, you know. But that's the way they operated.
Right.
Yeah. But so far, I'm glad that part of it is over. We have to be bothered with that no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you the first black funeral home in Mooresville? Or
Now, far as I know, I was. But now they was to tell me there was another funeral home. It was down there on West End. But I don't know who that was. You know.
but as far as you know.
Yeah, as far as I know, they said it was another black funeral home.
How long have you been the only black funeral home in Mooresville?
Oh, let's see. This is what. Let's see. I came here. I come to Mooresville in '56, right after I got out of high school. I started working with the cabins. So I opened my place up right after I got out of college. I came back from Cincinnati, and that's when I opened up the place over on Westmore and Biltmore. Then my partners bought me out. I guess they thought they were going to take everything from me. But you know, by the help of the Lord, you see where I am now. And I'm not worried, I don't worry about this outside stuff no more. Because I done got too old. I got too old. I have heartaches, headaches, Right now, I need to go to the doctor to have my back checked and my knees. And you see my little cot now? Yeah. But it's just good to be here. You see, I let my wife do all this.
The back end.
Oh yeah, I put her up there. So now you take care. You just to go ahead and take care of it. Because I feel like I done got to. I can't see like I used to because I done lost the sight on my left eye. And that's why I want her to go ahead and just kind of take over. But do you know what? Now we got a son, a daughter. Do you know neither one of them want to take over if something happened to me? They say, we don't want no part of this. I said, cause my daughter told me, she said, I couldn't put up with what you put up with. Say these people won't have pay. I said, no, some of them don't, some of them do. I said, but you got to take the good with the bad. It'll come out. And my son said, I'll cut the grass for you, but I ain't gonna, I ain't. He's something that sometimes he'll go on the funeral with us. But other than that, he don't want to have no part to do with it. And my daughter don't have no part to do with it. And she's a registered nurse, you know. I said, okay. I said, I guess when I go, somebody else will get it. I said, but I'm going to be around here a long, long time.
Amen.
Be here a long, long time. When it ain't no, I always tell my wife, I said, when it ain't no trees, I'll be here.
Can you tell us when you first opened your business, you know, just what was going on in Mooresville when you first opened?
Okay. When we first opened up, I'm trying to think what was happening. Well, it wasn't too much. I don't think it wasn't too much happening because the thing was that I want to get this right. The blacks, had certain places they could go. The white, they had certain places they could go. But the only place that we had to go was like 4-6 down. Jim Frank's cafe, because we just buried his son. I guess it's been about a month ago now. And Terry's Diner. You know, it was right across in front of the church, Jones Chapel Church. So I'm trying to think of what else.
We've been looking for that name.
What?
Nobody said it. Terry's Diner.
Terry's Diner.
What do you remember about Terry's?
Terry's Diner. Well, what I remember about Terry's Diner now, you know, they had these big old things to cook your fish and your hot dogs in and all that kind of thing. And every time I go by there, I don't think they ever changed that grease.
Just left it there.
Huh?
Just let it go bad.
Yeah, let it go back. Because me and my buddy, we stopped by there because we'd always, like on Sunday nights, that's where we would stop to get us something to eat. And when you come out, that grease scent was in your clothes. And we couldn't go in there. But that was the only place really that we could go. you know, because all these other places like Sally's Grill and I'm trying to think of the name of this other place. You couldn't even go in there. Couldn't even go in the front. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. You ain't gonna believe this. I can remember when there was 3 black men. One rode in the back of the truck, a big open truck where they throw the garbage up in there. And you had to go to the back to get your food. Some of them was eating off the garbage can. I said, my parents didn't raise me to eat off no garbage can. I get my stuff and go back to the funeral home and eat, because it's just right next door. And finally, they fixed up a place for the blacks in the back, in like a cafeteria. And they had black cooks working back in the kitchen, you know. And I said, now, you know, I thought to myself, that's not right. At least that's the way I felt. It wasn't right. But there was a situation where, I'm trying to think of this man's name. He was white, but he came by and talked to me. He asked me, he says, this thing is going to change. I said, what are you talking about? He said, there will not be no more colored bathrooms in the hospital and all these other big places. Say everything's going to be one. And do you know, a lot of white people kicked against it. But what nothing they could do, because that was the government.
So it sounds as though you started the funeral home with Morrison at the height of the civil rights era. Did that affect you at all? Did that affect the funeral home at all?
No.
Okay.
No. But I tell you one thing, probably ready to go. But I went to the post office on Main Street, and I parked my car across the street there at Cadden Funeral Home, and I just walked over there. And I went over there to get a flag for a veteran. And I walked up, and there was a bunch of white people in the post office. And I'm standing there, I'm dressed up, you know. And the guy looked at me when I got up there. He said, Jim, can I help you? Oh, that rubbed me the wrong way. I told him, I said, let me tell you one thing. I got a name. I said, now you can call me Harvey, you can call me Walter, or you can call me Bryant. I said, but I have a name, and it's not Jim. I said, as far as I'm concerned, I said, you know what a Jim is? No. That's a damn mule with his ears sticking up like that. I said, and I went and talked to the postmaster about it. And you know what he told me? He said, well, he calls all black men Jim. I said, well, let me tell you one thing. I said, I might be black, but mighty, I got a name. So you can call me Walter Harvey Bryant. I said, if you don't want to do that, don't want to call me that, just don't call me nothing. Just look at me, you know. But see, it was really kind of prejudice when I came to Mooresville in 1956. It was shortly right after I got out of high school. But the man sure told, said, call me Jim. You know, I got a name. What do you want to call me Jim for?
You can go ahead. Get his wife.
Yeah, because I want to ask more specific. So over the course of your time here, the 3 funeral home names, how many people do you think you've buried?
53 funeral home.
Since you've been in the business?
Roughly speaking, I would say I've done at least probably it's a little over 3,000. And I didn't get paid for all of them either.
Do you recall any that died because of racial violence or were killed?
Say, run that by me again.
Do you recall any that were killed or died because of racial violence? Because of racism?
No.
No?
No. That's why I don't. No. We didn't have that.
Would you say that's because of Mooresville? And the nature of Mooresville?
Yeah. Well,
Can you describe race in Mooresville?
but the race.
Like race in Mooresville, because it just seems that black people and white people historically have gotten along in Mooresville, and everybody knew how to interact.
So, now what you want me to explain to you?
Well, just race in general, because it seems that, it was things that white people were able to do, things that black people were able to do, things that black and white people did together. We're just trying to see how it impacted you and your life and your business, because what went on racially in Mooresville is not what happened racially across our country.
Right.
We need to understand what happened racially, or what happens racially here in Mooresville.
Well, at one time, I know it seemed like but I don't want to say this. I think it was pretty good. The ratio was good. Because he seemed like some of the whites, the blacks got along pretty good.